What is going on, ladies and freaking gentlemen? We are back again with another 90-day fiancé video, and in this one itself in particular, we're going to be talking about Hamza. I mean, a little bit of Memphis as well, but predominantly Hamza. Because, well, you see, I myself is a product of having two parents who had me before, well, two parents that had me, and then they separated before I was even 1 year of age. And one thing that I can say as I look back is, why? Why didn't you make that extra effort? And this is what brings me to this video itself in particular. We have seen Hamza and Memphis go back and forth on Instagram. But more or less, we've seen Hamza quite a lot recently on Instagram, venting, or not even venting, but expressing how sad he is. And I know I did use the quotation, but it's not that I'm saying that he's not sad. It's just that I don't believe that he's sad enough. Now, here's the thing. Before we get into some of the evidence that I have at hand to back up everything that I'm about to say, we're going to begin by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel and making sure that everybody doesn't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And of course, at the same time, please make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment to help the channel grow. But with that being said, we're going to head over to a post that, or a Insta story, shall I say, that Memphis posted a couple of days ago, or at least I think 2 days ago. And as you can see here, she came out by saying, "Beauty isn't big buildings for me. It is watching what God created. It's the simple things." And of course, this itself in particular is a reference to Hamza. Because, well, here's the thing. We know that Hamza always wanted to come to the States, to not live in a town or a location that isn't necessarily a big city. He wanted to come and live in a big city. But of course, Memphis lives in Michigan. And the problem is, that is not a big enough city for Hamza. So therefore, Hamza has decided to relocate himself to Chicago. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having dreams and aspirations, but there's a lot of people in this world who, when they have children, they put a lot of their dreams to the side, or maybe they compromise to a certain degree to make their dreams work, as well as being a parent. Now, this is a young man that clearly only had one eye to go and make his dreams come true. And that was to go to a big city, which is where he's at now in Chicago. And just happened to be there with someone that he knew as well. Which also does bring a very interesting question, very suspicious question in terms of his behavior. Now, here's the thing. We know Memphis is someone that is controlling. We know Memphis is someone that just has pure evil in her, because that is how she has portrayed herself, and that is how she continues to portray herself. I mean, look at it this way. Memphis said that she's no longer going to post pictures of any of her children on social media because she doesn't want anyone to be giving her any stick or saying anything cruel, which is understandable and respectful. And if anything, no one should be posting their children on the internet anyway, in my opinion. But here's the thing though, Memphis is someone that likes control. And it made me sit here and I said to myself, maybe the reason why she said that was because it was another sign of control, saying, hey, he's not going to see his kid. You guys are not going to see his kid. In fact, you guys aren't going to see none of my children. So that is one form of way of blocking Hamza from even seeing his child. So of course, Memphis has a role in the whole situation. But then here's the thing. Let's head over to Hamza's Instagram account real quick. And this is the thing. There's been a chain of events recently. And as you can see right here, he started off by posting, "Dad, am I beautiful? More beautiful," my apologies, "more beautiful than the moon. You are the light of my life." Now, of course, this is Hamza having a conversation with himself representing his daughter. And listen, don't get me wrong, it's lovely, it's sweet. Moving on to the next one. "Dad, I miss you. I miss you more. Don't forget you are my heart and my princess." And at the bottom, he also says, "I miss you." And then obviously finishes off with another one by saying, "Dad, take care of yourself. I will wait for you." And he says, "Soon I will see you, my soul." Now, here's the thing. As lovely as these words are, it just seems to me as if Hamza is someone that just enjoys seeking empathy. He enjoys going onto social media accounts and telling people how amazing they are in terms of how much support that they have given him. And don't get me wrong, it's a lovely thing to have support. But then here's the thing though. How long can people support someone without seeing any actions from his side? Now, again, there's a lot of things that we probably don't know. There's a lot of things that's gone down that maybe he has tried that Memphis has stopped him from doing, allegedly, potentially. But the matter of fact is, though, when it comes to Memphis and when it comes to Hamza, these two are never afraid to show how they're feeling on social media. That is something that has been very evident. I mean, the whole time it's been Memphis being the bad cop and Hamza being the good cop. But the reality is that as bad as what Memphis is, and as bad as she's probably been blocking him in any kind of way, the matter of fact is, though, this is a man that flew from Tunisia. And remember, when he found out that he had a daughter, he was ready to step up to the plate. At least that is what he gave us. But then since then, we've only seen evidence of him not really stepping up to the plate. I mean, listen, we talk about how we've been told how he wouldn't even change his own daughter's diaper. We go back to the whole scene at Tell All when Memphis had the whole outburst and how he didn't even decide to take his own child away from an angry mother. Fair enough, we could say that maybe he was scared or whatnot, but let me tell you something right now. Anyone out here that is a great parent where he's not scared to take their child out of danger at any means necessary. The matter of fact is there are so many people in this world who wish they could have kids, but are unable to have children for whatever circumstances they are in. Which therefore results to many people in the world who are so lovely, not all of them, because there are some people in the system that are very messed up, but there are also people out there who do foster children to give a better life, adopt children to give them a better life, and there's also other people out there who gain pregnancy in other ways, whether that's IVF or surrogacy or anything like that. But here's the thing though, we live in this world now where some people have children, but then they don't really step up. They tell us to step up, but they don't. And listen, me, myself in particular, I'm a product of two human beings who decided to have me at a very young age. And throughout my whole life, I barely saw my father because of politics between him and my mother. And I know exactly how that affected myself in particular, but I'm very fortunate to have overcome it all and to be the person that I am today. So I can't necessarily put myself in the same category as certain people in terms of how much you can really break someone down. I'm not saying I haven't broken a few times, I definitely have. But I've always fought back and made sure that I became a strong human freaking being. So therefore, I guess that's where I can be different to others per se who are unable to do that for whatever reason it could be. And the matter of fact is, the way Hamza and Memphis is behaving is what's probably going to happen to the child. But the thing is though, as much as I am completely frustrated with Memphis, with her behavior of flying to another country, sleeping with a man on the very first night without protection, getting pregnant on the first night allegedly, then having a child with this man allegedly that he's the father of course, is disgusting. It's despicable because she had learned nothing about him. But here's the thing though. Hamza knew that Memphis did not live in a big city. This is a conversation they would have had way before she even flew over to Tunisia. So he knew he was coming to the States and he knew he was coming to a city that was not Chicago or a big city like he imagined. So it makes me wonder, if you knew you wasn't going to move into a big city, why marry someone? Why even have a child with someone? If you know that when you get there, you're going to stick to your plan. And your plan is to get there, and then once you can escape, you get up and you go to Chicago. And then somehow you even have someone there to live with, ironically. Which therefore even makes it more subjective. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, what is the point of this video? I mean, listen, let me show you something real quick. Let me show you something real quick. So here's the thing. I decided to go on Google Maps and find out the distances between Chicago and Michigan. And to be fair, I believe this is the location that Memphis residing in Michigan itself in particular. Okay, Michigan, I probably said that wrong, I do apologize. But as you can see, it says here, or to be fair, when I checked it a little bit earlier, do you know what, if I do so say myself, let me show you this itself in particular. But let's just make this a little bit larger. There we go. As you can see, this is obviously exactly what I have put into the system, if you dig what I'm saying, okay? Obviously, Chicago, Illinois, and obviously I don't know which part, where in Chicago he is at specifically, but I know exactly where Memphis is because that was something that was revealed, I believe, in one of the texts or whatever. But as you can see here, the average time for travel is about 3 hours long. Now, earlier on, there was also the flights. They did actually show how long a flight would take, and a flight would take roughly around about an hour long. A little bit less, a little bit more, depending on which flight you take. Now, of course, flying isn't going to be cheap, so driving always has to be the way. But ask me this. Riddle me this, riddle me that, as they say. But why? Why would you move 3 hours away from your child? Why? That's what I want to know. Here's the thing. As bad as what Memphis is, we know Hamza had a choice to stick around. But of course, if things wasn't working with his woman, obviously he has to move. Why so far? Oh yeah, that's because, you see, he knew someone in Chicago who he could live with. And this is where my frustration comes in. And this is where I'm so annoyed, and it's very frustrating because I really want to make this video as balanced as possible. But I won't lie to you, most of my aggression and upsetness is towards Hamza. Purely because we know Memphis. We know exactly how she is. And Lord knows what she has done to prevent him from seeing his child. Lord knows. But the matter of fact is, though, we're in a situation where I'm seeing this man come on social media, talk about how he's tired and sad another day, then coming back on a different day and talking about, and then creating a conversation with himself and his daughter, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in a public eye, it makes you wonder, are you doing all of this just because you want people to like you? Are you doing this because you just want people to give you sympathy? Because every other day he'll post something that involves, hey everyone, well this is exactly how he says it, but you know, he'll post something along the lines of, you know, I want to thank everyone for all their love and support, blah, 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 blah. I want to thank everybody for all their love and support, blah, 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 blah. This is something that's becoming a weekly thing. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but then it tells me that all he cares about really and truly is making sure that at any means necessary, he looks like the good cop. He never looks like the bad cop. And do you know what makes it worse? This is what makes it worse for myself, and this is where I struggle even more to make this a balanced conversation. But check this out. As you can see here, his sister, as she has this whole time anyway, has obviously chimed in and said, we really miss her a lot, but we were deprived of seeing her. How can a person be without feelings? Now here's the thing. Obviously on the side, the caption is, Memphis is a horrible person, shaking my head. Mahala, get Hamza and his family a better place regarding the situation. Now here's the thing. Yes, Memphis is a horrible person, 100%. We cannot deny that. We cannot move away from that. We always have to make that 100% known, without a shadow of a freaking doubt. Don't get it twisted. But here's the thing. One thing that we know about Hamza is that he is someone that was living with his mother and his sister. And in his culture, men don't do too much. The women do everything. They do the cooking, they do the cleaning, they do all the things that I guess they're supposed to do within his culture. So here's the thing. It makes me wonder, did he probably think that once he moved to the States and he moved to Chicago, that Memphis was going to willingly get up, leave her home, leave her baby daddy who also looks after her other two kids? Because bear in mind, Memphis has 3 children right now. All of them have 3 different fathers, but her first 2 children are both looked after by her second baby father, because obviously he stepped up to the plate for both her children. For the first child that she had and then the child they had together. Shout out to him for that one. I believe that is Jason, I think. So did he? So this is my argument now. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, based on everything that we know on Hamza, I personally strongly do believe that he thought that he could come to the States and he thought that Memphis would happily get up and move to Chicago with him. Why? Because he wanted to live in a big city. And the matter of fact is, in his religion or his culture, XYZ, women are arguably known to be submissive. Or women are arguably known to look after their men in any way necessary. And if that is the silver spoon he's been born into, the problem is, though, there's a reality check. Just because it's like that where you're from, it doesn't mean it's like that when you go to the States. In fact, if you want that lifestyle, you have to marry someone within your culture. The matter of fact is, there's a lot of people in this world who assume that if they try and marry someone from a different culture or XYZ, that person is still going to bow down to them the way women are supposed to from theirs, when that is far from the freaking case. Because at the end of the day, there are some cultures out here in the world where women have been fighting for equality for the longest of times, which is why now we're in a position where so many women earn more money than men. Women have better jobs than men to a certain degree. Now, this isn't me saying that women are taking stuff. What I'm trying to say is that We live in a world where women actually have an ability to work and to earn money for themselves and look after themselves, and they don't necessarily need a man. Same way for men too. I mean, myself in particular. You know, I don't need a woman, you know. End of the day, if I have a woman in my life, you just understand that you're here because I want you to be here. But if you do me wrong, we out here because I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? I'm an independent dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy being alone. That's why I'm still here alone. But the fact is this though. Despite all of the hardships that Memphis is putting Hamza through, putting his family through, the matter of fact is though, there is still that other side of the coin, the other side of the story. The other side of where Hamza is just lazy. That's what I'm going to go with. Lazy. Because, like I said before, I didn't say this. So I said this in the previous video that I did make, and then I didn't upload it because I thought I botched it. But anyway, like I said now, yes. The matter of fact is, in my opinion, if things were going down with Memphis and Hamza in terms of legal wars, I strongly do believe that we would know about it, because Memphis would want to be the first one to come ahead to tell everybody, so therefore everything would be in her narrative. She wouldn't allow Hamza to be the one to speak about it. She wouldn't allow Hamza's sister to be the one to speak about it. Now here's the thing though, Hamza's in a new country. So obviously when it comes to that, him trying to understand that he has abilities to maybe sort out some sort of agreement where maybe he can see his child several times a week, and maybe when he does see his child, his baby girl, maybe in that moment in time, he can then either pick up that baby girl from Memphis's mother or something like that. Or maybe the person he's living with can then come with them to pick up the child and, you know, then go off and spend a day with his child. He doesn't necessarily have to, you know, take his child back to Chicago. He can go down to Michigan for a day. I mean, listen, if he was able to get in a car or whatever he got, if he was able to transport himself from Michigan all the way to flipping Chicago, that means he's able to go from Chicago back to Michigan at least 2 to 3 times a week, or even 4. Because, I mean, he's not working, is he? But the fact that he's not working means he's got time in his hands too. Now, of course, all these things come at a price. But the matter of fact is this though, why have a child if you're not willing to pay the price? That is it. I don't like it when people are naive and say, oh, but I can't afford it. Listen, I tell you this now. I've been working with children for so long, and I tell you this right now, for the people in the UK, you can go to Asda, you can go to Primark, you can buy a PE kit for literally plimsolls, £1, maybe £2 with the rise of everything going on, but £2. You can buy a PE top, a nice white top for kids, okay? Don't get it twisted. This time, I'll tell you this now, right? For £1, and you get a pack of 4 or something for £1. Pack of shorts for £1. That's £4 right there, £3, right? The amount of times I've had kids come into, when I obviously did teach PE, come into my lesson and be like, where's your PE kit? Yeah, my mummy and daddy couldn't buy it. They can't afford it. So what? In my mind, of course, I'm like, so why have it? Why have you then? If they don't want to look after you, £4. £4 when, interestingly, you look outside and you're seeing their parents with some cigarettes, smoking them, and the cigarettes are £11 a packet. And they buy those how many times a week? And they can't afford their child a PE kit. They can't afford their child a new pair of school shoes. Huh? They can't afford their... So the matter of fact is, if you can afford to get yourself 3 hours away from your daughter, you can afford to get yourself 3 hours back to your daughter. But again, though, there were certain things that he may not know. I mean, to be fair, he probably doesn't know. But then again, though, he is with someone at this moment in time that is helping him, that is from the States, who will know the law, who will know that you can take the baby mama to court to make sure to make sure that you are given visiting hours or visiting days or whatever it may be. And there's so many other things out there that you can do. But I'm not seeing none of these things done. Now, of course, Memphis isn't going to mention this. Of course not. This is Memphis. She's in control. She's going to make sure he knows nothing. But this is my issue, though. We know his sister is likes to also get involved every now and then. So it makes me wonder, why hasn't Hamza or his sister or even the people he's living with thought to themselves, how can we find a way to make sure Memphis allows my brother, allows my son to see his child? Because the matter of fact is, I would imagine that all women or most women would know exactly how it works. And if anything, women that are resilient, they will definitely find out, because at the end of the day, it's not like they don't have internet. They obviously have internet, because that's how Memphis and Hamza met anyway. But again, like I said, he's got a woman and a buddy with him right now who could also help him if he doesn't know. So I'm not going to neglect that there's a chance that he doesn't know these things. But he's around people that I would imagine do know. Not even should. Do know. So here's the thing. How do I round up this video? I don't think I can. Because the matter of fact is there's too many twists and turns within this conversation itself in particular. And I won't lie to you, enough is enough. And I am sick and tired of seeing Hamza come on social media and talk about how tired he is. Talk about how sad he is. Talk about how grateful it is that people are showing him empathy. When in reality, instead of going on the internet to look for people to praise, he should be going on the internet to look for ways to, one, learn the English language, of course, a little bit more. And two, to be finding out how can I make it happen so I can see my child. But no, being in Chicago is the main thing. And I hate to say and I hate to reference it, but Memphis, the post I showed you guys at the very beginning, beauty isn't in big buildings for me. It is watching my words, it is watching what God created. It's the simple things. And the matter of fact is this. Hamza's a very young man. So I don't know why he was in such a rush to go to these big buildings. Why? You've got a child. And do you know what makes it even more frustratingly annoying and embarrassing? His mother is someone that was divorced, and he said that he never wants to be divorced like his mother. It seems to me as if he didn't even make any. It seems to me as if he didn't make enough efforts, and I only say that, despite the fact that Memphis is a tool. I only say that because the second that these two wasn't together, my man went to the big city real quick. Didn't see much of an effort. Obviously, I wouldn't see as I wasn't there, right? But it's not like he's come out to say, but this happened or that happened, or his sisters come out to say, but this happened and this happened. All we've heard from himself and his sister is that Memphis is a liar. And yes, she is a liar. Don't get it twisted. She's a manipulator. We know every single thing. But understand this, when there were children involved, there were two people at the freaking party, and both of them have a responsibility to try and make things work. And if one of them is being hardball like Memphis, well then Hamza needs to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Even if that meant dropping his whole big plans of living in a city and moving back somewhere around the Michigan area. But like I said before, there is still that option where he can still go and see his child every now and then, every couple of days within that week. Because I tell you this now, I know people myself personally. I know I'm going on and on and on, but this is such a touchy subject and such a big one to me. I have so much more things to say, and I'm gonna just keep saying it. But here's the thing, I know people that live an hour or two away from their child. And trust when I tell you, for us Brits, living an hour to us is an equivalent to 2-hour drive for you guys. 2-hour away journey for us is equivalent of a 6-hour journey to you guys, to be honest, if you're not even a 4-hour journey. Because in America, you guys have these long roads, and generally I think your journeys are long anyway. I don't know. It's just that sometimes you be talking to Americans, they'll be like, it's only 4 hours down the road. It's only 10 hours. I'm like, for what? 10 what? An hour to me is a stretch alone. But the fact is this though, I know people that live an hour to 2 hours away from their children, but they still make sure that they see their child every single week without a freaking fail. And this ain't even just once a week. This is, some of them see them for the weekend. Some of them see them midweek, depending on their work schedule. But either way though, they make it work. And do you want to know why they make it work? Let me show you why they make it work. Because you see, for them, their children are literally more beautiful than the moon. You are the light of my life. And for them, they don't even have to miss their child, but they miss their child every single day with intentions of actually seeing their child. And last but not least, not only do they say, I see you soon, but they will literally see them soon. And the matter of fact is this, there are people in this world that put actions behind their words. And then there's people in his words who say things that they can't even stick to, or maybe don't even plan to stick to. I'll leave it there. I've tried my best to make this video as fair as possible in terms of the balance between both Memphis's behavior as well as Hamza's behavior. But end of the day, right now, Memphis is the one that has their daughter. So therefore, it means that he needs to start stepping up and making bigger choices, because at the end of the day, when it comes to toxic relationships, toxic parents, there's always going to be one that's going to have more power than the other one. But the one that has less power, it doesn't mean that they just stop there. The one that has less power, they still have the ability to do what? to still push. Let me give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. You see, I came to the UK when I was 6. Now, back before I moved, my dad wasn't really ever allowed to see me for, doesn't matter the reasons. But you know what he did? He would still come and bang on that gate every single day trying to get my mum to allow him to see me. Funny enough, I didn't know these things until later on in life because I was told about them. But then you know what else happened after that? My mum then decided to get on the plane, came to the UK, and then when she came to the UK, she left me there for a couple months, and that's when I actually got a chance to actually see my father. But then after that, what did my mum do? She then came back, picked me up, and then brought me to the UK. And therefore, my father was in Zimbabwe, and I was in the UK. But you know what my dad did? A few years later, I think it was a few years later, he then got on a plane and followed me to the UK, and then continued to still try and see me. Like I said, he was in and out of my life. That was due to politics between them. But one thing that I can never take away from him is this: he never gave up. Bear in mind, when he was here in the UK, he had to come here. He had to find work, because when he was back at home, he was a bouncer. You know what I'm saying? He got paid a lot of big money, but he was a big dude. But coming here, he had to become something different. So he ended up going to a new profession, handyman. Okay. And with the little money he had, and the woman that he was with at the time, and bear in mind, my father also had a new daughter as well. So it's not like he was out here by himself. He was here providing for his wife at the time and my sister, of course. And the fact is, he had to pay for the wife. Well, she worked as well, so fair enough. They had to work, live together. But also at the same time, they also had to seek refuge as well, just to avoid being sent back home. And why? Because obviously he wanted to be in the same country as his son. That there was a fighting man. I didn't see him enough. Honestly, over the years, I don't think I even saw him. It didn't even come to double digits, to be honest with you. But the fight was there. And he came here. He found a way to stay. You know what I mean? And he made it work. Each time he saw me, he always brought me a gift, even though he was providing for his woman and my sister at the time. Fighting man. And the matter of fact is, I look up to people that are fighting human beings. Hamza has not portrayed that in any way, in any means necessary. There are some people we're still a 9-day fiance like Kobe who hasn't even seen his child yet. 2 years. Obviously he has now, but like in the show. 2 years you had to wait. You see what I'm saying? Hamza is lucky to be there straight away. But no. Let me just get in my car, bike, plane, and let me go to Chicago instead. You understand my frustration, but like I said before, I've tried to make it balanced, but I also still making sure that you guys remember that Memphis is not being saved in this video. Yes, she is a freaking villain. But so was my mother. But it didn't stop my dad. So it shouldn't be stopping Hamza. But it says, as far as I'm concerned, just like my father, Hamza knows very little about how America works. So did my dad. But he was a fighting man and he made it work. Sadly, he passed away, but it is what it is. That's how life works. People come and they go. I'm just happy that at least I got a chance to see him every now and then. You know what I mean? We take what we can get in life and we keep it moving. And when we lose people, in my opinion, we carry on as strong as possible because that's exactly what they want us to do. But hey, this video though was not created based on my personal experience, just to say that. It's just that everything that I've just added at the end, it just came to me just to use it as an example to show the difference between Hamza's character and someone that I obviously knew. Because obviously I like to use my life experiences as examples to why I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. Just like I can imagine some of you guys, or if not everyone, whenever you guys say things in your comment section or in this comment section, you say things based on your own life experience, because at the end of the day, our answers are always based on our perception. We are never right or wrong. We are just always learning from others. At least that's how I look at things. I like to learn from others. I don't like to look at them and be like, oh, you're wrong. Like, you know, to be fair, sometimes I'm like, no, yeah, you're definitely wrong. You know what I mean? Let's be realistic now, okay? Hey. But nonetheless, though, like, subscribe, and peace.